I've always been a night owl, but 3 weeks ago, something happened that made me dread the sunset. It started with a simple notification on my phone. Motion detected at front door. It was 3:14 a.m. I checked the live feed from my doorbell camera. The street was empty, bathed in that sickly orange glow of the old streetlights. No one was there. I figured it was just a stray cat and went back to sleep. The next night, the alert came again at exactly 3:14 a.m. This time, when I opened the app, I saw a man. He wasn't at the door. He was standing at the very edge of the camera's range, right where the sidewalk meets the shadows. He was tall, unusually so, and he was standing perfectly still, wearing a bright yellow raincoat despite the clear sky. But it was his face that made my blood run cold. He was staring directly into the lens with a wide, fixed grin that didn't reach his eyes. I didn't sleep. I stayed up watching the feed, but he never moved. When the sun started to rise, the feed flickered for a split second. When it came back, he was gone. I tried to tell myself it was a prank, maybe some local influencer trying to go viral. But then the messages started. I'd get texts from unknown number containing only timestamps: 3:14 a.m., 3:15 a.m., 3:16 a.m. 2 days ago, the motion alert went off again. I didn't want to look, but I had to. The man was closer now, halfway up my driveway. He was still grinning, still in that yellow coat. This time, he was holding something up to the camera, a Polaroid photo. I zoomed in and felt the air leave my lungs. It was a photo of me, taken from inside my own living room, asleep on the couch from earlier that evening. I called the police, but by the time they arrived, there was no sign of him. No footprints in the damp grass, no physical evidence. The officer looked at my doorbell footage and frowned. "I don't see anyone, son," he said. I looked at the screen over his shoulder. The driveway was empty. The man was gone from the recording. Last night, I didn't get a motion alert. I thought it was finally over. I went to the bathroom to brush my teeth, and as I looked into the mirror, I saw the reflection of the hallway behind me. There, standing just outside the bathroom door in the dark, was a flash of yellow. I spun around, heart hammering against my ribs. The hallway was empty. I turned back to the mirror. In the reflection, he was still there. He was standing right behind me now, that impossible grin inches from my neck. He raised a hand, the skin looked like gray parchment, and placed it on my reflected shoulder. I felt a cold, crushing weight on my real shoulder, but when I looked down at my own body, there was nothing there. I haven't looked in a mirror since. I've covered them all with sheets, but every time I pass one, I hear a faint, wet sound, like someone trying to laugh through a mouthful of water. I thought the sheets would protect me. I thought if I couldn't see him, he couldn't touch me. But as 3:14 a.m. approached, the air in the house grew thick and frigid, smelling of stagnant water and old wet wool. My phone buzzed. Motion detected, living room. I looked at the screen and my heart stopped. The camera wasn't showing my living room anymore. It was showing a distorted gray version of it. In this version, the furniture was rotted, and the windows were replaced by jagged black voids. And there, in the center of my gray living room, was me. Or at least, it looked like me. The me on the screen was screaming, but no sound came out. He was pounding on the glass of the camera lens, his hands leaving smears of dark, oily residue. Behind him, the man in the yellow raincoat was standing perfectly still, his grin wider than any human mouth should be. He reached out and slowly began to peel the skin off the me on the screen, like he was removing a suit that didn't fit. A sudden sharp pain flared in my own shoulder. I looked down. A long, thin slit was opening in my skin, right where I'd felt that cold weight in the bathroom mirror earlier. I bolted to the living room, grabbing the corner of the sheet, covering the large mantel mirror. I had to know. I ripped it down. The man in the yellow raincoat was standing right there, not in the room, but inside the mirror. He wasn't looking at me anymore. He was looking at his own hands. They were turning pink. They were becoming my hands. I looked down at my own body. My skin was turning gray, becoming dull and parchment-like. My reflection, the thing that used to be me, was now standing in the real living room on the other side of the glass. He adjusted his collar, his face settling into a perfect, terrifying imitation of my own neutral expression. He leaned in close to the glass, his breath fogging the surface from the outside. With a slow, deliberate motion, he reached out and picked up the sheet I had just dropped, tossing it back over the mirror. The last thing I saw before the world went black was his new eyes. My eyes, glinting with a hunger that had been waiting for centuries. Now, I'm the one standing in the rain. I'm the one waiting for the clock to hit 3:14 a.m. And I'm looking for someone who still has mirrors in their house. Someone who hasn't noticed that their reflection is smiling just a little bit too wide.